So when you own SA in the UK, that's one separate business, which we covered yesterday. I'll leave this here if that's okay with you. And if you own SA in the European Economic Area, that's a separate business. Okay? They're two different businesses. And SA, so I'm not going to call it SA now, I'm going to call it Furnished Holiday Lets, FHLs, yeah? But generally speaking, people call them SA. Furnished Holiday Lets are not a trading business, but they get the same reliefs as trading businesses, or most of those reliefs, as long as you meet the test, or the three separate conditions, which I'm going to share with you right now. So it's a pretty generous system for people. Number one, you have to make the property available for commercial letting for 210 days. That means you have to charge market rent. If Terry wants to rent one of his properties to his older brother, and it gives him a 20% discount, that doesn't count as commercial letting. Okay, it has to be at full price. So you've got to make it available 210 days in the year. You have to actually rent it out for 105 days in the year. And if you rent it for longer than 31 days in a row, and those more than 31 days add up to 100, and this is the bit where people get a bit confused, so I'm going to slow down here. If you go over 31 days, and that adds up to 155 days over the year, you're not a furnished holiday let business. So, for example, I let out a property to Tahir for 35 days. Then Terry, 35 days in the same day. Caroline, 35 days. Okay. Laura, 35 days. Okay. That gets us to 140. And then Julie. It's home time. It's home time. Where did Fiona come from, Kieran?
That's the middle name.
Yeah, sure. That takes me over 155 days, yeah? So you do not want to rent out the property for longer than 31 days to anybody. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be eating into your 155 allowance. This could be one person, it could be 5 people, it could be 15 people. Does that make sense? Because the whole aim of furnished holiday lets is to do short-term lets. And when you start doing longer-term lets, okay, HMRC will penalise you. Does that make sense?
And they penalise you in what ways? By losing, what do you lose in those cases?
You lose everything.
So
no capital allowances.
Okay.
You can't make, so if you have an investment business, you can't make pension contributions using that income. Whereas if you have a trading business, you can. So you can't make pension contributions, can't claim capital allowances. Section 24 affects you. Okay. Whereas if you have SA or FHL, Section 24 doesn't affect you. Yeah. And then all the other reliefs, like we talked about, I think it was for Caroline, for her mum to convert the property into service accommodation and sell it after 2 years and claim entrepreneur's relief. You can't claim that. So you lose everything basically.
Okay. So Shaz, just to make sure that I understand it correctly, I manage a property on behalf of an investor whose prime reason for having it as run as SA or furnished holiday let is to avoid Section 24. We have a number of bookings that have that request, extended stays.
Talk me through his scenario. He owns the property. Has he given it to you on a lease?
No, I'm managing it. I'm a managing agent. I charge a monthly commission.
Okay, fine.
So fine. They can. My understanding is
that's fine. That's fine.
But what if the stays are over 35? The 155. Let's say that I have one stay, even not 5 individuals, one stay of 5 months.
He doesn't qualify.
He doesn't qualify. If I have 5 or 35 different ones, he doesn't qualify.
No. That's why you've got to have extra services, so your proper service accommodation and not this service accommodation.
Sorry, what does that mean?
Yes, sorry.
I'm lost now.
So when you go to a bed and breakfast,
Yes.
or you go to a hotel, they offer you additional services. For example, like breakfast, like concierge, like lunch, dinner, like they give you tours, okay?
Yeah.
That type of stuff. Have a bar, transport.
Yeah.
All of those additional. I do have a list for you.
Amazing.
Those, if you offer those additional services, then you can argue this is the bed and breakfast. We just call it SA. Then these rules don't apply. Most people don't offer those services. All they do is rent out a property by the night. Therefore, they have to qualify for these rules.
Because if I have all those additional services, but I don't have a planning class for a hotel, is that completely separate? Can I still argue the case if I have a residential?
We don't want to go down the route of planning.
No, I know, but like I'm lost now.
Basically, just don't do this.
Yeah, that's going to be very different. Because just a quick question. So if you have somebody stay
I'll
for
answer for you.
21 days, or like,
31, you mean?
No, they say 21 or 30.
Yeah.
And they go away for 5 days, they come back for another 30 days. Does that count?
Problem.
It's a problem.
So it's that individual in a given year spending more than 31 days.
Yeah.
So really, so even that one person can't stay less than 150, like one person 150 days.
Sorry?
I hear that a lot, and I have no observation. Caroline says, buy a second SA property and move them in there.
Move them around, put a number of rooms. Right, okay, thank you very much.
Take care, Caroline. Have a safe journey back. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Because I mean, the whole point of some of these essays is because you get long-term rental booking, like with
So
trades and
qualifies you
stuff.
completely. Unless you're doing these crazy services.
Well, you can't have it every way, I'm afraid, Shamla.
What do you mean?
You can't want to avoid Section 24 and claim capital allowances and have all the benefits
And have everybody stay there forever.
and not meet the rules, because then you're really offering short-term lets.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, because the whole when I did the essay course, they were saying one of the benefits was that certain places you get trade staying, and they're not like every 4 days. They stay for a month or two. That helps. That's what they want, long-term
Yeah.
bookings.
I mean, I suppose if you have a pool and we have, we can move people around if we want to protect somebody's interest, or if I want to protect my own property and still be able to access that. But that takes a massive amount of planning and knowing exactly what benefits people are trying to benefit from.
But let's keep it simple for now. Let's assume most people that we know don't offer additional services. They have to meet this test, or then there's 3 tests, the 3 occupation tests. If they don't meet them, you can't claim all the reliefs.
Can you get around this by, say, having the mortgage as a furnished let? Because most people.
No.
No, that's a requirement.
Yeah, and also if you get
That's
an
right.
SA or furnished let mortgage, most of them don't allow you to have people stay more than 30 days. That's normally a condition of your mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. Because these are the rules. Yeah.
It's just that
What you're trying to do is you're trying to take, not you personally, but people out there are trying to take advantage of the generous tax rules. But at the same time, they want to rent out the properties as though it were an AST or
For as long as.
medium term let. You can't have both, because that's abusing the rules. And everybody comes on this course here since day one, since 2016. The minute we get onto this, okay, all hell breaks loose. I want people. See, I'm telling you honestly. I left it last because
and you fortified yourself with some tea.
I knew Joanna was going to get excited. You see, so okay. But how about people sat there crying? Oh yeah, well, why properties? No. I was told
No,
this.
but this is a big issue, isn't it?
That's a
yeah.
huge issue.
Yeah.
So you can move them around potentially in different units.
I can't give you that advice simply because it's not been tested.
Yeah.
You could do that. When HMRC come in, they will look at the invoices, the names, the people, the credit card payments, and they'll match them up and say, hold a minute, you were just doing a bit of teaming and lading and balancing around.
If you have a management company in place, they're not gonna they're going to look at your records, not the management company.
Oh yes. Oh no. Once they look at her records, they then say you're the managing agent.
Okay.
We're coming to look at your stuff as well.
Yeah, it have to be.
Not guaranteed, but I've seen that happen. One case leads to another, leads to another, leads to another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not here to give you bad news, but I'm just sharing the facts with you, Joanna. Okay.
But what if like they book but they leave at the weekends and then you rent to somebody else and they come back? Is it like it's a Monday to Friday?
No, he's saying it's cumulative
work.
for that
Ain't gonna
individual
work.
over a given year.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to work.
If you rent to Bob 6
Yeah.
times for 31 days or whatever,
In total, fine. But if not, then yeah.
No, it's not fine. That's
it's not fine because you've exceeded the 155
No,
days
I'm just
for
saying,
one person.
if he stays at a total for 31 days, it's fine.
Or 31 days or less.
Yeah, 31 days or less.
Yeah.
But if he goes beyond 31
So
days,
32 days or more,
no
yeah.
matter how long in that year,
That counts towards this balance here. So then you take 32 off here, whatever the balance is, and then you carry that forward in the year. And if you got other people or the same person staying there and eat into it, if this 155 becomes 0 because you've exceeded more than 31 days from any one person, you lose.
where's this written in legislation? Because I want to speak to the SA management company I'm speaking to. So,
If you type in furnished holiday lets online,
yeah.
it'll all come up there. Depending on how we get on, if you have a break, I'll find it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? So the third rule is got to be occupied for 105 days. So when you first start your SA business, we'll call it SA, but it's FHL, okay? When you first start your SA business, these tests for the first year are from the day you bought or you started your business for the first 365 days. In the second tax year, it's tax year to tax year, third, fourth, fifth. When you sell your SA business, it's the last 365 days. That's how you apply the test, okay? First, the start, first 365. When you sell, last 365. In between, the test starts from the 6th of April up until the following 5th of April. Okay? The good news for you, Joanna, is you've got something called averaging, okay? Where you can average out the number of days a property was let out for. I'm going to share an example with you.
Among properties I own.
Yes. And you also got something called a period of grace, which buys you 1 year.
Yeah, because in year one you might not rent it out
Yeah.
at all until you get good reviews.
Yeah, that's right. So here Peter has 4 SA units. So remember, he's available for letting for 210 days, actually let for 105 days, okay? So property 1, does it meet the third test?
Yes, yes.
Property 2, does it meet the third test?
No,
3,
no,
4?
no.
So only the first one's SA. But because we can use averaging, we add them all together, divide them by 4, and that gives us 107. Does 107 meet the test?
Yeah, yeah.
So this particular person, okay, is okay. Joanna,
Yes.
are you okay?
I am still processing a few things, but yeah.
The period of grace basically is if in 1 year you don't meet the test, okay, they let you off for that particular year, but the previous year and the following year you have to meet the rules. So they're being very generous, I think, and being very flexible by saying if in 1 year you don't meet it, use the period of grace. You can only use it once, okay, and either side you got to meet it. Then the following year you meet it, and the year after that, if you don't meet it, you're okay as well. But either side of the 1 year of grace, you've got to qualify. Okay?
Did they put anything in for COVID? With it? it? Because obviously nobody was allowed to move in 2020 and 2021 was quite pushing it. So
They had some flexibility in the VAT.
just wondered if they had any flexibility in this 105. It had to be let for 105 days because obviously if they shut the country down, you weren't allowed to travel.
Yeah, if you didn't meet the rules while lockdown, it was okay.
It was okay.
They didn't. Yeah.
They thought about everything.
They didn't penalise you, no. And if your turnover goes over £85,000, you have to register for VAT. If you let out a property for more than 28 days in a row to the same person, then you don't charge them VAT, because then it becomes a short-term let, which makes it even more complicated from your point of view. Okay? Yeah.
So the VAT is for the management company if they have more than 85,000 or something.
No, that's if you run it yourself. If you were the entity that runs the holiday let,
Yeah.
that's you fall under the VAT.
No, but even if you're managing it,
Yes, but that's different. It's different whether you, as a managing agent,
but you got to pay VAT if you're, yeah,
You'll be
yeah.
registered anyway.
If you're going over 85,000, yeah.
Yes, we will.
Okay. If somebody stays in the property for 31 days and then falls ill and has to stay a couple of days extra, then you're okay. This isn't breached. If they miss their flight, for example, because they're traveling abroad, or they came from abroad and they're going to come back and stay an extra night or two, that doesn't breach the rules either. So you've got a bit of flexibility there.
It's good to document it. I mean, we often have people who stay with us for 2 weeks in between completion on the purchase and sale, and
2 weeks is fine.
10 weeks later it's still delayed. So as long as we have record of something like this, because we always get
No.
emails, that's different, yeah?
Missing a flight, falling ill is acceptable. Being unable to complete on a property purchase isn't.
Delayed on a new build? No.
No. No.
It's got to be an emergency.
It's going to be an emergency,
Fairly
yeah.
short, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is an example for you how it works. So, property 1 qualifies year 1, qualifies year 2, qualifies year 3, all the way through. Property number 2 qualifies all 5 years. Property 3 in year 2 doesn't qualify, but because all the other properties qualified, and if you add all the days together, and I've not put the numbers here, and the average is more than 105, this qualifies. In year 3, property 3 again doesn't qualify, but because it doesn't qualify, you can use a period of grace. Okay, same again, and it qualifies. So basically, if you've got more than one unit, Joanna, then you're okay, because you can use the days from the other properties. The only thing you can't do is the 155. There's no way around that. Yeah, you breach that, you've had it.
You lose everything.
Yeah, you had it.
For that property.
For that property, yeah. If you've got 5 furnished holiday let properties, for that property, it doesn't qualify. The other 4, fine. So these are the things, Joanna, you would lose. Section 24, you'd have to pay more tax, okay? You can't use the income towards pension contributions. You can't claim capital allowances. You lose entrepreneurs relief. You'll have to pay, you may have to pay national insurance, okay? And if you make any losses, you'll be stuck with those until you qualify for service accommodation, because service accommodation losses can only be used against service accommodation profits. Yeah? So if you only got one property and you lose service furnished holiday let criteria, then until you qualify again, you can't use those losses.
There's none of the sideways.
No sideways loss relief.
Okay.
So if you have 2 or 3 really bad years where you don't qualify, or you do this and accidentally drop out,
Yeah,
you just have to file your tax return as if it's a residential let.
that's right. Yeah, and that's going to be painful.
Yes.
Okay, because then if you accelerated your capital allowances, there's an argument that the year you fall out, you need to do a balancing charge. and that could be pretty nasty.
But then if the next year you fall back in again,
Then you can come back in
you
again.
can come back in again and claim your capital allowances.
Yeah. But in the year that you have a balancing charge, you'll have a huge tax bill to pay.
Yes. And you've had a really bad year because you've fallen out, so
So you
you
have
may
more.
not have the income to be able to cover.
Yeah. Do commercial conversions sound like a good idea to you right now? So the turnover is within the scope of VAT. Aha. So if you have two businesses in your own name, so let's say Terry has a stationery business and he turns over £50,000, and he has a serviced accommodation business in his own name and turns over £40,000. Because he's a sole trader, both of those get added together for VAT purposes. Okay? So bear that in mind. Yeah? Okay, you okay with that, Joanna, or no?
Yeah, that just was sole trader as well, yes?
Yeah, but so if you go over £85,000, you have to register for VAT. But if you're only doing £40,000 in your serviced accommodation business and it's in your name, but you have a second business and you're turning over 50,000 there, individually both those businesses are not breaching the 85,000 rule. But because you're a sole trader, you have to add them both together. So going forward, both have to register for VAT.
Because as a sole trader, you're
The whole thing is one.
separate entity.
That's right, yeah. So best put them into a company. So here, Joanna, for your benefit, those are some of the things that you ought to do.
That's the page.
Meals, trips out, barbecue facilities, have a website, swimming pool, games and sporting activities, welcome pack, personal welcome on arrival, facilities for accommodating pets, facilities for children, that type of stuff, charge for extra services, a bar, okay, gym, a nightclub.
And how many do you have to have in total?
Good question. Laura, how many of these do you have to have, do you think, to move from furnished holiday lets to serviced accommodation? How many of these services do we have to have?
Yeah.
You said that without moving your lips.
I did.
You're getting really good. The more you have, the safer you are. Yeah.
If that's the case,
Accommodating pets.
And potentially,
This is an extra service, isn't it?
Is it? What, you
And
have one
these-
as well?
and these,
You might not want to, but yeah.
so these could be used to get out of that 31. Not get out, but you know,
Oh no, this will get you out of 31.
this will get.
Because now you're like a hotel. You're like a hotel. So everything that I've shared with you in the last half an hour, you can scrap.
Right, so you made a poor girl cry.
No. The-
Joanna's made of stern
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Most people are doing what Joanna's doing without realizing, and when HMRC come knocking, which I think they will do, because in the last, when did service accommodation become a thing? 2017?
It's only been a few
16,
years.
17.
Yeah.
17 it became a thing. Okay, a lot of people are doing SA, and I'm sure someone at HMRC sat there rubbing their hands and waiting. I'm telling you honestly, saying let's give it another 1 or 2 years, and we're going to bring in a few £100 million in tax.
And it took a while for people to start claiming the capital allowances and kind of benefit and actually disclosing to lend. You know what I mean? Like doing it that way.
It didn't take them a while to start claiming all the interest though, even though Section 24 kicked in. They were talking about that from day one. Do service accommodation and Section 24 doesn't apply to you.
So it's having as much available as possible,
Yeah.
having everything documented, so any kind of so that actually brings up, like from a management perspective, that adds a massive amount of responsibility that
Yeah.
I take it guess that most of the companies like mine just don't really know, and I think that the info we're given on training is like, here is all that's available
Yeah.
without the actual rules, I
Yeah.
think. So that's really
I
important.
suppose the thing is all evolving, isn't it? But I look at that and I see that as an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
You can make a lot more money.
And also, you still have people who don't really want to listen. I mean, I work with people who still are not interested, don't want to hear from me about what they can claim. So they actually still kind of, either on no mortgage or a repayment mortgage with a permission to run as a, they're not actually benefiting from all that they could. So for them, they don't, that doesn't matter completely. For the rest, and it's knowing your customer and knowing how I structure it for myself, is making sure that everything is done correctly and documented.
Julie, you're very quiet for our in-house specialist. I'd like to hear your views. What are you thinking so far?
I was just looking on there, so I saw like where it said facilities for children, so I said to Samir, so I guess if you provide like a cot or stairgate or whatever,
Yeah.
So
At the moment, are you...
got your own website? Is that what that means?
Yes, yeah. It's just to help you differentiate.
I find it really interesting because we often rent cottages to go away, and I just assume they run to the holiday lets.
They are.
But you say that, but when I actually look at what they're providing, personal welcome on arrival, we always have that. We always have, yes, your pets can come.
Yeah, well, they are because
some of them being put a park in,
they are, but because they're claiming all this stuff here now, and the furniture they let rules are onerous compared to this. They've moved and they said, sort that for a game of soldiers. 210 days, 105 days, 155 days. That's onerous. Forget that crap. We'll move over here. So they have, don't they? They've moved from there to proper SA. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But we've just thought, over the years they've upped.
Aren't they nice? Yeah, aren't they good?
Aren't they lovely people? But I didn't realise they've done it purely because there's a tax advantage to providing a barbecue in the
But
garden.
actually, it's good for you, and you'll go back.
Yes, absolutely, and we've never stayed anywhere.
Everybody benefits.
They actually organise your trips.
No, you taking them out and about to see sightseeing. Well, you get that, don't you, when you go out and you excursions and whatever, yeah? Offer it.
You can actually,
I am keen to hear from you next, Julie, by the way.
have those services, have other people work with other businesses, as long as you're there middle person to
that's fine.
organise it, that's fine.
Yeah,
Because there's plenty
you
of
don't personally do it now.
no, not within company. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You could outsource some of your stuff to Tahir.
Rain.
He'll come over there, give them a massage and fix their bones and all that kind of stuff. He's easy to do that kind of stuff.
Easily done.
Yeah.
But it can even be, I suppose, as basic as getting an agreement with a local, I don't know, hairdresser.
Yeah,
takeaway,
makeup person, nail person.
The car
and leaving
company.
flyers in there going, well, if you want your nails done while you're here, or
Even better, just put the services up there and say just ring. They just ring you, for example, and you sort it out for
if you
them.
want a spa treatment, and, we've got a link with this person.
Yeah, I would do it as though you're offering the service. Even better.
Which is very easily done for us.
Yeah, we can
have
arrange
it.
this, and then it's a concierge service, and you just phone up, don't block.
Haircuts £285, nails done for
just thinking about
500.
this margin.
Okay, and lo and behold, after 5 years, nobody's ever bought anything, Joanna, but you're offering it.
But it's there, so basically there is a notice board or something, there is a leaflet that goes out, part of our, like, guests receive an information.
You got it, you got it.
There.
And you've also got another potential income stream because you've linked in with the local hotel spa where you're going, if all my guests come and I book them in with you, I'll get a 10% commission on that. Please, thank you very much.
When you go on holiday, or whether in the country or outside to a hotel or whatever, just look at all the things that they do. I mean, you can't do every single thing. You can't have a gym. I appreciate that's going to cost a lot of money. Look at all the things they do and pick all the low-hanging fruit, the things which are going to be cost-effective and not expensive to implement. Implement them all. Most people aren't going to use most of this stuff anyway. They just stay 3 or 4 nights, but you're offering it. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Julie? Because I'm interested to hear what you think.
I think it's good, and I think like things like I've got a couple of properties in the Isle of Wight, and I kind of cater for like the top end of the market, so only really people on holiday. But I had thought before, but obviously then we had lockdown, about doing like the kind of not meals, but offering and connecting up, as you say, like with the restaurants. So, because a lot of people, obviously when you go there, you have to arrive by ferry. So if you're coming for the weekend, by the time you get there on Friday evening, the last thing you really want to do is have to go out for dinner or go to the supermarket. So that was, I hadn't done it, but I was thinking about offering that as a service. I think that's a good, I think there's a lot of requirement for additional.
So at the moment, are you offering those additional services or no?
No, I'm not.
And are you breaching that?
No, because I typically get people, the longest really is probably a week.
You're fine then, yeah.
Just because of the market that I cater towards. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, by the way, make sure you click like, subscribe and post a comment because that tells me that you're engaging and you're finding the content useful. And if you like this video, make sure you check out this video here because it's the next stage in terms of your learning and development.